Hello there, I'm Jamie. Welcome to another session of Vista Export Services. In this particular session, I'll quickly show you how I was able to create all the grass and shrubs, and I'll also be introducing you to the script called Render Element VRayLightSelect. This script automatically creates a VRayLightSelect render element of all the lights in the scene with a click of a button. The final result of that particular scene would look something similar to this, where you see all the shrubs and so on. For very dense and complex scenes such as this, I've used an amazing new graphics card called AMD Radeon Pro. It can handle almost any scene, renders fast and perfect for VR projects. You should check it out if you can. So to create the shrubs, the first thing that I was able to do, I first created a rectangle around the area that I wanted to create the grass or the leaves, like so. The next thing that I've done, just isolated the scene there, went into geometry, on the standard primitives, and then from the list I've selected the iToo software. First click on the Forest Pro button. Under the Forest Creation library, click on the select toggle. That should take you to the library first. So here's your library. Sometimes it gets hidden by accident. Here. In this vast library, you can choose different sets of grass, lawns, and so on. For the purpose of this exercise, I'll choose the oak leaf set. Then once you've selected that, you just click enter and simply go into the rectangle and click on it. It should automatically create the set of oak leaves previously chosen from the library. By default, Forest Pro display objects in the viewport as point clouds. If you wish to change this, simply open the Modify panel. And then you scroll down, open the Display Rollout, and choose to display the objects in the viewport as mesh. But it depends. For instance, if this was all grass, I don't think you'd be able to see anything here, because it would be too dense to be displayed as mesh. Another amazing feature of Forest Pack is that it automatically generates and updates high resolution textures with all objects in the scene. Use the material picker to check the Forest Pro materials in the scene. As you can see, there's translucency maps, bump, normal maps, and high resolution textures. In the end, you can convert the Forest Pro objects into editable polys or mesh if you wish. Simply select the object, right click and choose to convert. To create the grass, simply repeat the previous steps and select one of the grass library sets. As you can see, everything has been created with randomness. To decrease the density, simply open the Modify panel, scroll down and open the Distribution Rollout. In a density group, the smaller the values, the more dense the grass will be. The higher the values, the less dense the grass will be. When objects are not too dense, they are easier to be displayed as mesh in the viewport. Otherwise, you probably won't be able to. So you can go into mesh. Like for instance, if you were to go back into density here and reduce it, obviously now it's becoming more and more dense there. There'll be a point where the mesh density is so high that we will not be able to be displayed as mesh in the viewport. There are a few types of display options: the default points cloud, the mesh type, and proxy. And it takes seconds to render. Also, you can add your own objects. So for instance, imagine if you had your own set of geometry you wanted to add. So your sphere. Select your Forest Pro object first. You just go into Add Multiple Custom Objects and add your object. This is obviously just an example. We're not going to use the sphere. And in addition to that, if you want specific types of patterns there, you can go to image and then select a map. So Forest Pack will give you some different patterns for the grass. It's all based on the grayscale material as well. So the arrangement will just be slightly different. Obviously, because it's not too dense, you can't see a lot of that pattern there. The moment you start decreasing the density values, the pattern will become a bit more apparent. Now you can choose a different pattern. See there? You can see the pattern there, like an arrow going, just like that. You can choose. But you can create your own patterns, obviously, in there. I really like this one here. There. Quite easy, really. The Forest Pro can also be used on objects, as opposed to splines only. So, let's suppose that this is, you wanted to create some grass around this particular spherical surface. It'd be quite easy to do. So you'd use the same approach. We can also use the scale function to reduce the size of the overall object. Then we can increase the density now that the scale is much smaller. Let's also change the display type to mesh. There. The X, Y and rotation values can also be used to place the Forest Pro object more accordingly. To use Forest Pack, simply go to their website and download it. So to create the cabs, I've done something quite similar. I've used a Railclone. Railclone is quite easy to use. Simply go to their website and download it. I think you have a trial version for this as well. You can create amazing patterns with a click of a button. So for the curbs, it's quite easy as well. So you've just selected the edge of the pavement there. Isolate it. Open the modifier panel and click on editable poly. We are trying to extract the spline from the edge of the surface there. Simply enable the edge selection there and start selecting on the edges. And then create a spline from that. Go create shape from the selection. Go to linear. Rename it as curb, like so. Then you got your curve there. Just click H from your keyboard to open the dialog box. Select the curve. You isolate that. So you have your spline. So the next thing that you do, you go to iToo software again there. Then you click on the Railclone Pro. First create your Railclone icon by clicking and dragging it to create it. And then what you do, while the icon is still selected, you go to modify and you click from the library there. So you got curves, you got roads, you got sidewalk, all presets. You got railways, you got street lights, traffic, same thing. concrete curbs, building types, stadiums. You can create bleachers. The choices are immense. You can choose from any of these and just create amazing content. So for the curbs there, I've just chosen that one, concrete curb, and click import, selected. So under spline, then the properties, you see splines, you click on that and then you click your spline that you just created. Again, you just open the material editor there, just make them visible in a viewport with the show shaded material in the viewport. By default, this has all been displayed as a box. Again, with iToo software, you can choose how you want surfaces to be displayed. So you can get, at the moment is set as adaptive boxes. So you can go to mesh there. The offset allows you to either go to the left or right. If you want to constrain the selection to just shapes, because sometimes you don't want to select objects by mistake, you just go to shapes, and that's your curve there selected. You can move that curve every time you want to move the slab upwards. We'll just use the actual spline itself to move it, because it's constrained to it, and then the z-axis, just move it up. If you want to change the curve itself, you can change the width and the gap and so on. Once you're happy with all the settings, you can always convert into editable poly or mesh. Even if you don't want to, you can just add editable poly on top of it. So you just keep a stack, so you can always go back and forth. This is how I was able to create the grass, shrubs, trees, curbs and so on. To create the VRayLightSelect render element, open the Render Setup dialog first. In the Render Elements tab, click on the Add toggle and choose the VRayLightSelect render element from the list. You should be prompted with the VRayLightSelect render element parameters there. Then you click Add. You can add a light, so the light is there. So once that's rendered, it should look something similar to this. And then in post, obviously light selections work best with this screen mode. See there? And you can easily increase the intensity of every single light just by simply adding the levels adjustment layer. To do so, simply hold down the Alt key. As soon as you see that clipping sign, clip it against that light select render element. Just go into the middle point there, increase the intensity as required, and you can do that with every single light. So the end result would go from, say, this is the raw render, and this is all the light selection tools, elements there, one by one added. So if I were to deselect this, what you would look like. So it makes a huge difference. And you can also add colors, something like color balance. In this scene, because we have quite a few lights, it wouldn't be very practical to add over 100 lights manually. To expedite this process, we're going to use a script called Render Element VRayLightSelect. Just go to script spot, it's there. So what you do with this, you don't have to install anything, you just download it here, and it says attachment. After downloading it, you unzip it and place it under scripts. You go into Autodesk, the version of your Mac, and under scripts you put the folder called EC-Zymer. You just go inside, you put it there. So Mac should definitely know it straight away, that's there. So you need to reopen Macs. After you've reopened Macs, you just drag and drop that particular file inside Macs. To create a button for the script, open the Customize User Interface, open the Toolbar tab. Under Toolbars, you go in under Categories there, find and choose the EC-Zymer command from the tab. And the next thing that you do is to create a button there, and where it says New. You can write anything there for the time being. So your button is there. So what you do, you just drag and drop it there. And you can simply drag it onto the toolbar, just as I previously done with that one. To automatically create VRayLightSelect render elements, simply click on its toolbar first. See, by default it goes to all lights in the scene, so you want all lights in the scene. Never use this function as one element. This function adds all lights into one render element without giving you any flexibility to edit each light individually in post, as previously shown. So never use this particular option here. So once it's here, just leave it as it is. To create the render elements of all the lights in the scene, simply click on the Create Elements button. You can see all lights are being created here. So it's all automatically created. As you can see, all light selections have been named according to the light names. So you'd know exactly which light is which. So for instance, if you wanted to edit VRayLight 085, simply go into Post, select the relevant light selection layer and edit in Post. So it's very easy, very quick. If you have too many lights in the scene, it just makes your life a lot easier. Also, never render more than 120 light select render elements. Your renders will probably crash as a result. To check how the entire exterior night scene was created, simply check the links below to my blog and my Patreon page. The entire course is full HD and with captions. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please don't forget to like this video, and I'll see you on my next one.